And today, my guest is Ilana Davis, Shopify superhero, trusted e-commerce speaker, frequent podcast guest, as well as founder of the tech-driven JSON-LD for SEO app for Shopify stores to help her clients reduce customer service calls, increase conversions, improve their search engine optimization, and their website accessibility using leading industry knowledge to reduce friction and improve sales. And so with that said, Ilana, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. The honor's mine. And so let me just ask you, okay, what is your best thing that you teach or you implement with your Shopify clients to really help their online sales grow?
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize is, let me back up a second, I guess. When you are searching for something on Google, you're looking for a product and you see these really cool little things at the bottom of a result, it shows the reviews or the price or if it's in stock, that sort of thing. And people are always like, how do I get that? Because I want that on my products. And I think what people don't realize is that it's not magic. There are definitely a lot of things that Google will show in search results that is part of their algorithm, but some of that also comes from making sure that your site is up to spec, up to snuff, if you will, with what's called structured data. Now, that sounds really technical and it kind of is, but it doesn't have to be because there many themes include that structured data for you, or you can get an app that does it for you as well. But it's essentially a way of telling Google and other search engines that your price is this and your title is this and your availability is in stock or pre-order. And it really just helps them to organize the data that is available to them and then put it out there in search results in a way that your customers are like, oh, I want this information. I'm going to click on this link and get more knowledge
Mm,
about that product or whatever it is that you're learning about. So I guess my long-winded answer would be make sure that your structured data is up to snuff so that you can get more clicks, more qualified traffic, more people buying and higher conversions directly to your site with a simple, piece of code that you don't even have to write.
wow. Simple piece of code sounds nice.
Simple piece of code. I know, right? I mean, if you're going to code it yourself, I wouldn't do that. But most themes will have that, or you can use an app that will do it for you. But just making sure that you understand that the data is there and that Google's able to read it.
Right. Don't code it yourself unless you love to live on the computer 12 hours a day.
Exactly. I think we did some math on it at one point and we were like, it'll take you probably, 20 hours if you have no idea what you're doing, 20 hours to learn how to code it, get it in there, and then make sure it's correct. That's a huge waste of your time. Don't do that unless you actually know how to code.
Wow. Yeah. 20 hours is, that's a long time to be spending trying to
Yeah.
do something you've never done before on
No, don't do
technology.
that. Yeah.
So forgive me. So structured data, is this like when they Google the website or they Google a product, and then from there, is it like product listings essentially?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this actually applies to every website, but really Google is like hyper focusing on e-commerce, and that's where it benefits us so much because a lot of our, you know, like my site, for example, because I'm a consultant, I don't sell products. I struggle with structured data. It's just not really there for me. But e-commerce, this is where you're going to shine. So if you're looking at like Google Shopping, or if you're just browsing or like the basic search results, you're going to see products based on the query that you've entered. And so if you say, I want to look for, a iPhone 16 phone case, then when you search for that, you're going to see products that show up. And your goal as an e-commerce store is to show up in those search results. Maybe
Right.
it's not ranking number one, but how do you show up in a way that people want to click on your information? And that's where structured data comes into play. Like it's about taking things like your price or your availability or your reviews and making sure that they're showing up in search results because that's what people really care about. They want to know how much is this thing going to cost me so I don't have to browse through every single website to try to find the best price or if it's even in stock for me.
Right. And has that short, as someone who's spent a lot of time on the internet since it was invented, basically, has that really changed in recent years where Google wants to display product listings because they've decided, right, that it actually improves their user experience?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much Google has shifted over the years to really focus on shopping oriented queries. Um, it's I want to say structured data really sort of took off in 2017-ish, something like that. And then since then, and most recently in the last maybe 3 years, they've been putting a lot of effort into this. So what we're seeing now is that they've created a whole shopping tab, which people have probably seen. That's how you get your ads in there or free ads. But we're also seeing them putting more and more information that is available to your customers in search results directly. So when we're talking about how long does it take to ship to me? Is it free shipping? Can I return my product? And if so, what is my return window? All of that stuff can come from structured data. It could also come from Merchant Center or it could come from Search Console. But understanding how all of that works and how it's all tied into, that's where it gets complicated because it's not as simple as, oh, if I put this information on my site in the text, Google's going to know. It's part of their algorithm. It comes from a lot of different sources, but they're trying to find ways to put more information for e-commerce specifically in directly in search results.
Okay. And so what's the main reason they want to do that? Is it because it does improve the experience, or does it help people want to use Google more?
I think that absolutely they want to use Google more, right? Google's in this weird situation where they're competing with Bing or ChatGPT or whatever
Hmm.
AI in general and Amazon in the past. And so they're trying to figure out how to get people to use their search engine more and more. And so what we're finding now is that the e-commerce queries are becoming much more popular, and that's how people are usually using Google these days. How can I find this product or whatever? Some of
Give
the
them what
more
they want, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Some of the more informational things, people are still using Google, but they're not really clicking through to the next site, right? So if I say, how long do I need to cook my turkey for? You can usually get a quick result in Google and then you never do anything else with that information. But when you're looking for product oriented things or you're shopping or whatever, as we see people more and more move online, especially since the pandemic, we've seen that shift where people are shopping more and more online. Google wants to be part of that query, that question of where do
Right.
I find this product. They don't want you necessarily to go to a competitor. Of course, that's how they make their money, is through ads and whatnot, to get people to shop through Google and then come to your site. You're also going to see many times where you can actually purchase things directly on Google. They've been testing that off and on as a way to purchase directly through Google.
Wow. So do you have to run an ad to actually have the structured data, or is it part of the whole search engine optimization experience?
So that's a great question. They're two different things. So, but they can work together. So you have organic search and then you have paid ads or free listings, which is a form of an ad, but you're not paying money for it. It's just a way for you to rank organically in shopping. Again, super confusing because they all sort of blend together.
Right.
So when we talk about structured data, we talk about Merchant Center, which is what fuels your ads. You talk about your ad, what's it called? I'm blanking on the name. Google Ads themselves, right? Which
Mhm.
maybe you're running an actual ad on, not necessarily a product. All of those things sort of merge together, and that's what kind of creates their algorithms of whether or not you rank, how you rank, what shows. And so there's
Gotcha.
going to be certain pieces of information that will only come from Merchant Center, certain pieces of information that will only come from structured data, and then certain pieces of information that will only come from the content on your website. So Google uses your landing page, your structured data, and your product feed for Merchant Center as a way to validate all of that information to then decide what gets shown in search results or not.
Wow. Okay. So that all sounds very techy and complicated. So I'm glad there's people out there like you who know what you're talking about.
I mean,
So
I think the biggest
yeah.
thing though with that, because it is very technical and it sounds scary, but
Yeah.
the big thing with this is to understand that you don't have to be technical to qualify. You just have to either make sure that your theme is up to snuff or use an app that does all that stuff for you so that
Right.
that way you've got it set, you're good, you can focus on other things that you're not stressing so much about, oh my God, do I have all the technical pieces of my SEO going? Like, don't worry
Right.
about that part so much.
So, um, in scoping you out a little bit, listening to some of your guest appearances and reading about your great client results, obviously, they refer to you as the Shopify superhero, and so I was curious, like, what is the main benefit of doing that through the app and et cetera? Is it sales driven, or is there like a secondary main benefit? Like, does it reduce costs? Like, what's that really all about?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously, if you're paying a developer or not a developer, a marketing person to do your ads for you, this could help save money in that way. That maybe you're focusing more on your SEO or trying to optimize your ads in a way that you're not spinning your wheels and trying to invest more of our money and trying to figure out why you're not making sales. Ultimately, this comes down to an optimization around your search engine optimization traffic. It's about getting qualified traffic so that when someone comes to your website, you're not working so hard to convert them. Because in search results, like again, I'm looking for an iPhone 16 case. I don't have to think about if it's in stock or what the price is or what those reviews are because it's already shown to me in search results. So
It's
as
amazing.
a merchant, or I mean, as a customer, I'm pre-qualified. I already know the
Right.
price. I don't have to then, do I want this or not? It's a little expensive. I already know that in the beginning. So when it
Right.
comes to structured data, it's more about getting that qualified traffic instead of having to do that once they land on your page.
Right. So the visitor shows up with intent,
Exactly. Yeah,
buying
exactly.
intent. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so that is the time that we got there. That's an amazing answer. And I think you really distilled like the mystery of it down to practical application of it. So that being said, if someone wants to learn more about you and what you do, how can they best find you? Like, where can they go?
Yeah, again, I'll admit this is a really complicated topic. It's not as simple for me to come in here and tell you 10 minutes about it and hope that you gather it all. It's not meant to be that way. So, my best recommendation is to look on my website, ilanadavis.com, or you can search for my app, JSON-LD, for SEO on the App Store in Shopify, and you can learn a ton about it there.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on. I
Thank you.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.